Hey guys, what's up? It's Morgan and Angie from The Shift, and today what we are talking about is, are you actually selfish? And the reason we want to talk about this today is because oftentimes this is really tied in with when you're struggling to feel like you can really be yourself with your friends and family. Because sometimes we feel like we can't say or be a certain way or want a certain thing because we'll feel like we're selfish if we do. And that can really keep us stuck. When we think we're selfish or we're afraid of being viewed as selfish, it can really keep you stuck.
Yeah,
Angie, do you have an example for us about, this reaction of being afraid of feeling selfish and how,
yeah,
how this plays out?
I do. I was working with a client just the other day, and to give you a little background, I don't want to be too specific or I'm not, but this person is wanting to go through a divorce. She's wanting to get divorced, and there's a lot to that, and I can use my own story with that as well. That whenever I was wanting to get divorced back in 1997, I was feeling very selfish about that. And for her, I asked her, I said, are you feeling selfish about your desire to get divorced and create a new life for yourself? And she's like, no, I'm not really feeling selfish. And I'm like, okay, so tell me what you're feeling. And basically her words were, well, I am feeling like I am making bad choices that are going to hurt my family, my kids and my husband. And I'm like, so, she's afraid of making those choices because of that. And I said, isn't that sort of the same thing? Like you're afraid you're going to hurt somebody because of the choices you're making? Isn't that really a definition of selfishness? And she realized, oh yeah. And so what it is, it's a blind spot. If we can't see how we are in fear of being selfish, that's just a blind spot. And the reason I say it's a blind spot is because, like myself, when I was wanting a divorce many years ago, like there was a part of me that said, you're the one that's splitting up the family, and so you must be selfish.
Yeah.
Well, I say it's a blind spot because think about this. This is a paradigm shift for this. We can only see through our own eyes. Our experience of life has to come from our perception, okay? And that implies, because it's coming from self, we must be selfish, and on some level we must be. It is impossible not to be selfish, to see through our own eyes
Yeah.
and experience life through our own feelings and thoughts and emotions, all of that. And so it's okay to be selfish. And this word has been used to put us into a shame reaction so much. And it's a very manipulative thing. And what if we decided to shift that paradigm, right? And so I don't know, do you want to give the tip, Morgan, or do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, I'll say a couple things before we do the tip, because I definitely feel like you said, sometimes it really is a blind spot. Like, for example, my girlfriends were doing a girls' night a couple months back, and I was like, oh man, I really want to go to that. But then I was thinking like, oh, it's a weekend night, and like, if I were to go hang out with them, then Jared would have to watch our son, my husband would have to watch our son, and then he would be alone. So I felt like wanting to go hang out with my girlfriends was selfish.
Right.
And but I didn't realize that I thought I was selfish, because I remember saying something to my husband about, oh, I really want to go to that, but I don't think that I will. And he was like, why? And he was like, well, because then, you're gonna be alone and you have to watch Lucas. And he was like, well, you should totally go. Like, that will be so fun for you. And it's not a big deal. And I was just like, oh, like, and I realized like that underneath I really was afraid of being perceived as selfish. Like, oh, I want to do this thing that's fun for me. That must be selfish. And
Right.
in speaking with a client the other day, it was a very similar situation actually to the one you brought up. There, a client
Yeah.
I have is breaking up with her boyfriend
Mm-hmm.
and was feeling like, that was a bad thing to do because it's going to hurt someone. But ironically, whenever you're doing something good for you, it and especially if it's the best option for you, which in
Mm-hmm.
this case, her breaking up with him was the best option for her, it's actually also the best option for him, which probably doesn't seem that way, but it's definitely not in his best interest to keep dating someone who doesn't want to date him anymore.
Right.
So, ironically, if we can play this out and really see it for what it is, we can start to see that it, you're human, you have wants and
Mm-hmm.
needs that you can't really control. And does it make you selfish? No, it just makes you human, and
Mm-hmm.
you making choices that are best for you will actually be what's best for everyone, even if they
Right.
don't think so, right?
Right.
So I think the tip we have for you guys today is, how can we start to shift this idea of selfish over into self-care-ish instead?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're caring about yourself. You're doing what's best for you. It's like the whole thing when you're sitting on the airplane, you got to put your oxygen mask on first because you can't help other people when you're suffocating. And
Right.
oftentimes, when we're stuck in this loop of people pleasing, we're kind of emotionally suffocating. And
We
until you
are.
can start to take care of yourself, then you can see, oh my gosh, it's so much easier to actually have way more energy to help take care of other people. So, being self-care-ish is actually the least selfish thing you could do.
So to answer the question, are you actually selfish? Yes, you are. And so am I, and so is Morgan, and so is everybody who's living in the human experience. And it's actually absolutely okay. And just take care of you. See it as self-care-ish. So yeah.
Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This has
Thank
been
you.
Morgan and Angie with The Shift. If you want more awesome tips, please subscribe to our channel. We post these videos every week, and we so look forward to seeing you guys in the future.
Bye.
Bye.